Rock Pony teams up with Gen Pony in this month's issue of Friends Forever. After a chance meeting at a geological convention, Rarity and Maud decide to explore a recently uncovered cave system, hoping that their discoveries could help Maud's academic career. But in order to get credit for the discovery, they have to be the first to get to the caves, and Maud's rival, Buried Treasure, God, how much effort did that take, intends on beating them to the punch. So what's good? I loved Rarity and Maud's chemistry in this comic. Seeing a passionate character like Rarity paired up with a stoic mare like Maud made for some really funny dialogue, as the former did most of the talking for the latter. I also like the lighting and color choices for some of the panels, and as usual, Brenda Hickey somehow finds a way to make Rarity look even better than she usually does. Just look at her, styling on these hoes. But the real draw of this comic is the climax. A recurring point in the story is that Rarity is confused and somewhat worried by Maud's apparent lack of passion. Despite Maud's insistence that she does have emotions, Rarity still isn't very sure, but when she accidentally comes across Maud's diary and sees what's written in it, Rarity, and by extension the readers, come to realize not only how emotional Maud truly is, but also how much she values Rarity as a friend. And when Maud insists that Rarity continue reading the diary, even after the latter realizes the diary isn't hers and apologizes, it shows that Maud trusts her too. The single-page spread showing the entry is beautifully done, as all the scenes leading up to that point are redone to show what Maud was truly feeling at the time, and the way Rarity's surprised face is lit in the shot adds more emphasis to the shock of it all. This is hands down one of the best moments out of the entire Friends Forever series, on par with Luna and Discord's heart-to-heart in issue number 20, and it's a much better use of Rarity and Maud than the Gift of the Maud Pie ever was. So what's not so good? Story-wise, there isn't really much for me to complain about here. However, there's one thing about the presentation of this comic that I need to address. Most of this issue's story is accompanied by narration via diary entries. That, in and of itself, I don't have a problem with. The real problem lies with the lettering of these entries. You see, in comics, using script font is a good way to simulate written text, like in letters or in this case, diary entries. However, a lot of script fonts can be really hard to read, especially at certain sizes, so you have to be selective about which font you choose. The font they use for Rarity's handwriting is readable enough, but it's so small compared to the standard word bubble text. I had to squint at first in order to read it, and transitioning back and forth between the comparatively big, easy to read word bubbles and the tiny narration sections put some strain on my eyes. And just when I was starting to get used to it, I then got to Maud's diary entry, where the font was much worse. It was even smaller than Rarity's, and I ended up having to reread some sentences because of the styling of some of the letters. One thing you learn when studying sequential art and graphic design is that while lettering seems like a small afterthought, there's a lot of nuance to it. The first of which being readability. While I do wear glasses in real life, I don't have any serious vision or reading impairments, so I'm an average reader, and even I had trouble figuring out some sentences. While it's impossible to accommodate every reader out there, in comics it's important to make sure that the lettering is as easy to read as possible, because when a reader has to stop to decipher a hard to read font, it takes them out of the experience, and it can lessen the impact of pivotal scenes in the story. And for the nitpick of the day, I felt that the ending was a little too inconclusive. Once Rarity and Maud beat Buried Treasure to the caves, Rarity just leaves Maud behind to talk to the rocks, and that's it. It would have been nice to see an aftermath where the two mares are recognized for their discovery, especially since the whole point of them making the trip in the first place was to boost Maud's reputation in her field. But again, it's just a nitpick. All gripes aside though, I still think that Friends Forever 29 is an excellent issue. While the aforementioned problems with the lettering keep this from topping the Luna and Discord issue, this is still one of the best entries in the series, and it reminds me why I love comics as a storytelling mechanism in the first place. Next month, we're getting Cadence's first starring role in a Friends Forever comic. While I really would have preferred her to be paired with someone other than Twilight or Shining Armor, I'm still looking forward to what this issue has in store. So what do you think of Friends Forever 29? Swarm that comment section below or bug me on social media, and consider supporting me through Patreon or PayPal art commissions. Until next time, keep it sketchy folks.